This afternoon, crews are still on site at that partial collapse of a parking garage in White Plains. This is a story you heard first here on News 12. Today, they are trying to shore up this structure here. Let's get right to News 12's Lisa LaRocca, who is on the scene with the very latest information. Lisa.
Yeah, now you may not see a lot of action going on behind me here on Hale Avenue in White Plains, but police and fire officials who are on the scene throughout the morning tell me that engineers were in the structure overnight trying to get everything all shored up, stabilized, so they can start getting some of those cars that are inside to get them out. Now, I'm being told there are about 600 cars in there right now, but the removal is going to take a while. Of course, this is all due to the collapse that occurred about 9 yesterday morning. A portion of the 5th floor suddenly caved onto the 4th floor. There are about 15 cars in what's called the collapse zone. Now, thankfully, amazingly, no one was injured. Getting the cars out, though, is going to take a while because each time they move a few, they'll have to stop and check the stability of this huge 14-story structure.
As weight gets removed from floors, they have to reassess as they go. So it certainly will not be okay, all the cars can go. It is going to be a controlled process.
Yeah. And listen, the chief says he understands that it's very inconvenient for people to not have their cars, but they have to do this safely and properly. The hope is they'll be able to start moving a few this afternoon, but they also have to get the keys from people as well. So again, this is going to take quite a while. We're in White Plains. Lisa, let's go back to you.
All right, Lisa, do we know yet exactly what caused the partial collapse? What are you hearing about that?
Yeah, I asked about that and they said, they don't know at this point. There will certainly be an investigation into that. They'll be looking into if any code violations. I mean, we heard from people yesterday who said they weren't surprised that this happened, but they said right now they are just putting all their focus on getting this thing stabilized and getting the cars back to people. I mean, 600 people, that's an awful lot of folks who don't have their cars right now.
And there's a house in Jackson with a not-so-usual Halloween display. Politically motivated decorations have made their way to TikTok, and they're sparking outrage beyond the township. News 12 New Jersey's Jill Croce went to check it out.
Oh, it takes months. It takes months.
Homeowners Joe and Tracy are the ones behind the political Halloween vision, striking debate and also praise. Among the new decorations this year are an ICE vehicle with skeleton agents in Christie Nome, alligator Alcatraz with people in captivity and or being hung, and then the recurring hanging bloody babies and skeletons. The Jackson Parish says it's all about freedom of speech, and they've been doing similar political decorations for years.
Unfortunately, I got to worry about what people are trying to do to us now. This year has gone a little crazy, and we're going to defend ourselves. This is our First Amendment. It's our right.
Joe says some people are taking it the wrong way.
We're having fun with it. And if they don't like it, oh well.
Neighbor Joe calls the display a mess and distasteful.
There's better ways of, venting your freedom of speech. You don't have to put it out there like that. And like other people say, they have kids.
They've been trying to take it down. I got people calling every day, trying to take our stuff down, but like I said,
did police ever get involved? Or?
The town has, but we sent them a nice letter.
Donna on the street thinks the decorations are humorous.
I think too many people are afraid to be opinionated. So he gives his opinion.
If they don't like it, just drive by. It's that simple.
In Jackson, Jill Croce, News 12, New Jersey.
Well, outrage at a school in Mineola board meeting over a controversial computer-based grading and learning system. News 12's Kevin Vesey explains why parents say the district never should have adopted it in the first place.
Parents in Mineola lashing out at the school board and district superintendent Michael Nagler. They say they're angry because Nagler and his 19-year-old son recently started a company to develop a new video-based education program called Build Your Own Grade. It was rolled out this year for 8th graders in the district. Parents say it relies too heavily on iPad videos and puts teachers on the sidelines. Students' grades start at 0 and build over the course of the term, which parents say causes confusion and anxiety.
Starting every unit at 0 is demoralizing. It tells students they're failing before they begin.
Parents say the superintendent forced a product created by his company on the school district, and they say teachers were used to help develop it.
Hundreds of hours of teachers' work done on taxpayer time and with district resources were transferred into an uncontracted private venture connected to the superintendent.
Superintendent Nagler said his goal was to bring consistency and objectivity to grading policies. He apologized for what he called a failed implementation and insisted no taxpayer money was spent on Build Your Own Grade.
Not one penny of taxpayer money was used for this product. There's no intention to charge the district anything.
And following that backlash, school district officials said the program's digital component has been suspended. Parents tonight said it should be gone for good. In Mineola, Nassau County, Kevin Vesey, News 12.
Tonight, the district attorney says that suspect is responsible for killing a 16-year-old Lynbrook girl in 1984. Our Logan Crawford is in Lynbrook right now with the details on this 40-year-old cold case. Logan, good evening.
Good evening, Joe. A Nassau County homicide cold case has been solved again. Teresa Fusco was raped and murdered here in Lynbrook in 1984, and it rocked this close-knit community. Now, 3 men were originally convicted for her murder, but that conviction was overturned. And now prosecutors say DNA evidence has led them to the real killer, 63-year-old Richard Bilodeau, who they say lived on this block in Lynbrook with his grandparents at the time of the murder.
I only loved her and I miss her. That's all I can say. She lives in my heart, as you can see.
The death of 16-year-old Teresa Fusco of Lynbrook has been a mystery for decades. Now, prosecutors are charging 63-year-old Richard Bilodeau of Center Murches with her murder. Police and the FBI began surveilling Bilodeau in 2024, eventually obtaining his DNA from a cup and a straw from a smoothie he drank. They say his DNA matched the DNA found on Teresa Fusco's body. He was arrested Tuesday and charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. Prosecutors tell us Bilodeau denied knowing Teresa when he was questioned over the summer.
He said people got away with murder back then. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Bilodeau. It's 2025, and I got you now.
Prosecutors say Teresa Fusco was leaving her job at the roller rink on the night of November 10th, 1984. She then went missing. 3.5 weeks later, her body was found on December 5th in a wooded area here near Park Place in Lynbrook, about a half mile from her home. The district attorney says Teresa was raped and strangled to death. The DA would not go into detail about why they started investigating Bilodeau. In court, Bilodeau pleaded not guilty to the murder charges.
This county tried 3 different individuals, convicted them. Ultimately, years later, they were exonerated after the county dug in and tried another individual. There's a ton of stuff for us to go through. It's going to take some time.
Prosecutors say Bilodeau lived in Lynbrook in 1984 in his grandparents' house on Treadwell Avenue, a mile away from the Fusco home and the roller rink she worked at called Hot Skates. A neighbor who asked not to be shown says she remembers Bilodeau and would tell her kids to stay away from him.
I've known him for years. He was weird. Weird. Our kids were afraid of him.
The DA's office says Bilodeau has lived a quiet life, working at a Walmart in Suffolk. When asked about potential motive, the DA said she did not want to speculate. Teresa's father was grateful prosecutors continued pursuing an arrest.
And I'm very grateful for me and my family to come to an end like this than to constantly be a cold case situation.
The 3 men originally convicted of Teresa Fusco's murder were in jail for nearly 20 years, but their convictions were overturned because the prosecutor says based on advancements in DNA testing, which they say played a big role in this arrest.
The family of the 11-year-old boy killed in a shooting in Newburgh is breaking their silence exclusively to News 12. They are sharing their grief, their gratitude, and their message to the community. 11-year-old Matthew DeGroat was shot by another child inside his home on North Miller Street last Thursday, according to police. In a statement to News 12, DeGroat's family thanked the agencies involved in quickly apprehending the suspected shooter. They also expressed deep appreciation to the community for their support during their time of need. saying in a statement, "On behalf of our family, we want to thank the city of Newburgh and all police agencies involved in the apprehension of the shooter. We send a huge thank you to the Snug Group, its community partners, and everyone for their continued prayers and support in our time of need. Matthew may be gone, but he will never be forgotten." A 13-year-old boy has been arrested as a juvenile offender and is charged with second-degree murder. And we have more information for you about the Regional Economic Action Program's anti-gun violence work through SNUG and ways to support the family. You can find that on our website, news12.com.
A series of violent attacks across the borough, and tonight police say they have the man responsible in custody. The victims range from a teenager to a healthcare worker, now left bloodied and hospitalized. And we have team coverage of these disturbing cases tonight and what led investigators to their guy. And we do have to warn you that some of the video of these attacks is hard to watch. We begin with News 12's Marissa Santorelli, who spoke exclusively with the mother of that nurse who was beaten while on her way to work. She joins us now from Morris Heights with an exclusive conversation with that nurse's mother, as well as a closer look at that disturbing video, Marissa.
Yeah, Amanda, police tell us they arrested 23-year-old Jeremiah White for allegedly attacking Virginia Alvarez this morning at 5:30. Now, right before that arrest was made, I spoke exclusively with her mother. She walked me through the terrifying moments. Her daughter was brutally beaten. Now, I just want to warn our viewers at home, the footage you're about to see may be difficult to watch.
A nurse's aide at Bronx Care Health, now the patient.
It's the man that was calling me, and he told me your daughter got jumped. I said, what?
Early this morning, Virginia Alvarez was on her usual route to work when White approached her at this intersection of University Avenue and West 176th Street. She says he yelled at her, saying the words, "You hurt my mother," before he attacked.
Well, he kept punching me and punching me and punching me and punching me and punching me, and he wouldn't stop.
Then a Good Samaritan stepped in. She says that's when her attacker took off.
She got to the floor,
and I was screaming for help.
Thank God somebody heard the man came out and helped my daughter out.
But the damage was already done. In video taken by her mother at her hospital bedside, you can see her face bloodied, her hand broken, her neck stabilized with a brace.
It's terrible what happened. She was getting ready to go to work.
Virginia's mother says her daughter is in constant pain, but she's just happy she's alive.
If that man would have not come out, my daughter would have been dead today. But I pray to the Lord that we're going to get him. Oh, yeah, we're going to get him. He don't know who he messed with. He really don't know.
And that they did. Jeremiah White is being charged with assault. Now, Amanda, I just got off the phone with Virginia's mother to tell her the news. Now, she says her daughter has a long road to recovery ahead, but she is just happy justice is being served. Here in Morris Heights, Marissa Santorelli, News 12 The Bronx.
New tonight, a new state law in effect provides Connecticut residents, both men and women, with powerful new protections against domestic violence. Our Frank Recchia has the details.
Domestic violence is definitely a social crisis.
55-year-old Iris Seda of Bridgeport
speaking his power,
talking publicly for the first time about being a domestic violence survivor, a step she's taking in memory of her 22-year-old daughter, Ana Sepulveda, who died of a fentanyl overdose in 2021.
My abuser gave me black eyes.
Iris saying by the time she ended the relationship with her partner, she had simply had enough.
He was actually choking me, telling me, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you. My next door neighbor came in through a window, I lived on the first floor, came in through a window and pushed him off of me.
Iris' story is heartbreaking, it's tragic, and unfortunately, it's not uncommon.
But State Senator Sujata Gadkar Wilcox says a new law that went into effect October 1st can and will help survivors like Iris. The law protecting the location of housing for domestic violence and sexual assault victims. It's just a fancy way of saying the address of any given shelter can no longer be disclosed in public meetings.
It'll help victims like Iris, who, when they leave their abuser and go to a domestic violence shelter, they can feel safe knowing that that abuser will never know the location of that shelter.
Iris says while the physical abuse occurred decades ago, when she was a young mom with her whole life ahead of her,
even though this person has never made amends, I forgave him because of me.
On one occasion, just a year ago, her abuser followed her yet again.
He was following me everywhere I went, and even my kids were like, Mom, I'm keeping an eye on him. I see that he's following you. Even 22 years later, this man's still obsessed with me.
One of the mom's talents and coping skills is writing poetry.
Anna still lingers in whispers from the skies, a daughter remembered with the ink of my eyes. Survived the trauma.
Unlike in the case of her daughter's death, Iris says the new law provides a common sense remedy and a path forward.
This new law will protect domestic violence survivors who have left their abusers and are in a domestic violence shelter.
It's definitely a life-saving measure.
In Bridgeport, Frank Recchia, News 12, Connecticut.
Gadkar Wilcox says 1 in every 4 women in Connecticut will be directly impacted by domestic violence during their lifetime. For resources, visit news12.com.